Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we last in the last class in the last lecture we were done with the velocity in SHM, and today we'll be going with the acceleration in SHM. So first of all, you might know what is acceleration. Acceleration is basically change in velocity per unit time. वेलोसिटी के अंदर चेंज जाना टाइम के साथ is called as acceleration. Is called as acceleration. So before understanding the acceleration, I might draw a pendulum through which you can get an idea of understanding acceleration in very clear and good concept. So here you can see, as we have discussed in the last class, for example, if the pendulum I'm starting here. At the time 0, the pendulum is placed where? At the pendulum is placed at the extreme position. Pendulum is placed at what? Pendulum is placed at extreme position when time is 0. So now here you can see when the velocity come towards mean position, जब हमारे पास velocity mean position पे आएगी, then it will move over there too. ठीक है, ये this is our velocity direction. But you know what, if I'm going to draw here the restoring force, so you might know restoring force is always towards the mean position, so the direction of restoring force will be also towards the mean position. But here in the O to B means from mean point to extreme point, which is negative extreme point. From here the direction of restoring force will be towards, we can say, mean point. Here you can see there is opposite in the velocity and restoring force, but you can see this restoring force is basically directly proportional to what? It is directly proportional to acceleration. So if I can conclude here, so if you can see from A to 0 means from extreme position A to 0 mean position, the we can say velocity and acceleration are what? uh, Restoring force decreases because the velocity decreases. ठीक है, this happened at what? This happened when the body comes from extreme position to mean position. But we discuss about another case when body move from mean position means 0 to B, which is negative extreme position. And when body moves, so here you can see towards extreme position, when body moves, the acceleration, we can say displacement is, and displacement increases, and the restoring force is what? Restoring force also, it is always directed towards mean position, so it will increases and acceleration will also increase. So this happened at the extreme point. So if we talk about the extreme point, so at the extreme point the acceleration is what? Acceleration is maximum. Why? Because at the extreme point the displacement is maximum. And if we talk about at mean point, so mean point, as we know, the displacement is 0, so acceleration is also 0, because if when we want cover, we can say cover some velocity or displacement, so there will be the 0 acceleration. So since we know at the mean point the displacement or velocity is 0, so acceleration will always be 0. But here you can see, as I told you, that there was the acceleration which was away from mean position, but restoring force was what? Towards the mean position. One more thing, if we do discuss about potential energy, so potential energy is nothing but, we can say, the maximum work done against the force field. एक मैक्सिमम से ज्यादा कोई किसी बॉडी पे काम करे फोर्स फील्ड के अलोंग, maximum work done against force, किसी चीज से वो maximum काम करे, so this is known as potential energy. And potential energy is maximum at what point? It is basically maximum at mean point. It is maximum at, oh sorry, Potential energy is maximum at extreme point because speed is maximum at extreme point. And in opposite to it is minimum at what? It is minimum at a mean point. So if we can conclude what things are minimum or what things are maximum at what position, so I can distinguish between a mean position and their extreme position. So first of all, we are going to discuss some of the things which are at the extreme position first. So here you can see, let's start. So first of all, at the extreme position, the displacement is what? Displacement, or you can say velocity is what? It is maximum. क्योंकि हमेशा हम कोई भी चीज डिस्प्लेस करते हैं तो मीन पोजीशन से किसी एक्सट्रीम पोजीशन मीन्स फाइनल पॉइंट पर लेकर जाते हैं. So at the final point or extreme position, the displacement is maximum. And if we discuss about the restoring force, so restoring force is what? It is maximum at what? It is maximum at mean position. And then acceleration is also maximum because we know the velocity or displacement is maximum. And velocity, now velocity here is minimum. Why? Because here you can see the acceleration was maximum, but the change in velocity, because we know acceleration is what? Acceleration is change in velocity. तो जो velocity के अंदर change आया था time के साथ, that was maximum, but however the velocity is minimum at what? It is minimum at extreme point. Then we do have kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is minimum and potential energy is maximum. Okay. So you can see delta V, which is what? Minimum at, it is minimum at, we can say, mean position. It is minimum at mean position, but delta V is what? Acceleration. Delta V is what? Acceleration. And if we talk about at the mean point, the mean point, first of all, you know, displacement is zero. When the body is at the mean position, at the original position, it will not cover any displacement. Then the restoring force is what? We know restoring force is always towards the mean position, means from extreme higher to lower at the mean position. So it is minimum. And then acceleration is minimum because change in velocity is minimum over here. Then velocity is maximum. Kinetic energy, it is maximum. Last, potential energy is minimum here. Potential energy is minimum. So now here we end up the concept of SHM, like we have discussed about kinetic energy, restoring force, acceleration, velocity, displacement, and yeah. In the next class we'll be going to discuss about mass spring system. Till that, bye bye.